Hey guys, welcome to another video tutorial of Edify India. So if you guys haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, then please go to the subscription button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also we have free PDF notes, videos, doubt sessions, quizzes, and for that you can follow us on these social platforms also, and the link for this is given in the description of this video. And also we have attached other PDF notes which are other than the video lectures we are creating, so for that you can see. Now I'm going to start new topic, that is control and coordination. We have seen in our previous video lectures about life processes. So we looked at life processes which are involved in the maintenance functions in living organisms, and that's why living organisms cannot be living without those life processes, and life processes plays very important role in their maintenance, and actually maintenance of those life processes are also important. So let us see some introductory part regarding this. So we have seen that we can recognize living organisms as they are alive by their movement. So basically there are two kinds of movement: one movement which does not associated with growth, and second movement is associated with growth. So on the left side figures, there is a figure of running dog, a man who is sleeping, a cow who is chewing curd. So these movements are not associated with growth. And in right hand side, there is a seed germinating and the plant is growing. So these are the movements which are associated with growth. So what we can conclude from this? So there is a answer that we can think of movement as a response to a change in the environment of the organism. If there is some changes in the environment of the organism in which it is living, then there is some kind of a movement in that organism to respond to that change in the environment. So here the dog is running because it has seen something surrounding it, so that he is running. So we can also think of movement as an attempt by living organisms to use changes in their environment for their use, for their advantage. So here you can see plants grow out into the sunshine, and because of the sun rays the plants are growing, and it is advantageous for the plants because it's growing. And the man is sleeping because the surrounding area is calm, and it is helpful for his health, for his restness. So so we can say that these movements are because of the change in the environment, and this change in the environment can be associated with the usefulness for the living organisms. But you can see over here that these changes are controlled in some manner, because these the movements here we can see are controlled movements, and those are connected to the recognition of various events in the environment, and the movement are also correct because here the dog is running. So the movement is controlled after the changes in certain environment, the dog will stop running. So this is some kind of a control and coordination. So you can think about that there must be some kind of a system or some kind of a body organization in organisms which provides this control and coordination mechanism. And obviously this kind of a mechanism is simple in unicellular organisms, and this will be specialized in multicellular organisms. So there will be specialized tissues which provide these control and coordination activities in multicellular organisms. So this is the basic introductory part for control and coordination, and which is associated with some kind of a movement, some kind of a activity associated by living organisms, which is the response to their of them to the environment because of the changes in the environment. Now I am going to start nervous system in animals. So recently we have seen control and coordination. So this control and coordination is provided by the nervous system in animals. And this control and coordination is also present in plants, but there are different mechanisms for that. So let us see first of all what is the mechanism of control and coordination in animals. So we will start with the nervous system. So this nervous system is basically complex collection of nerves and neurons. So these neurons are basically the nerve cells, and those functions for the nervous system. So this control and coordination occurs by nervous and muscular tissues. So these nervous tissues are composed of these neurons, that is nerve cells. So basically what happen is this nervous tissue, which is made up of an organized network of these nerve cells or neurons, and is specialized for conducting information via electrical impulses from one part of the body to another. So this is the basic principle behind the nervous system, that the transmission of the signal from the outside the environment to their body occurs via the electrical impulses from one part of the body to another. So to knowing this principle, first of all we will see example, that is touching hot object. So if we touch a hot object, so it is an urgent and dangerous situation for us, and we need to detect it and respond to it. So how we detect that we are touching a hot object? So all information from our environment is detected by the specialized tips of some nerve cells, and those are called as receptors. And these receptors are usually located in our sense organs, that is skin, then our tongue, nose, ear, eyes. So these are the receptors which sense the changes in the outside environment, and they detect that, and then they pass on that detection to the nerve cells. So receptors at the tip of nerve cells sense changes in the environment, and those are present at the tip of these nerve cells. So these receptors are present in the sense organs, that is ear, eyes, skin, nose and tongue. For example, olfactory receptors detect smell. So olfactory receptors present in the nose, and they detect smell. And gustatory receptors detect taste. So gustatory receptors present on the tongue. Let us see structure of a typical neuron. So how a typical neuron looks like, and what are the different components of it. So first of all starts with the dendrites. So on these dendrites the receptors are present, and which detect the information from the environment. Then there is a cell body in which nucleus is present. Then there is axon, so it's a long chain which starts from the cell body and ends with the axon terminals. Then there are the Schwann cells which are present along the axon. Then there is myelin sheath. Then there is a node of Ranvier, which is the gap between two Schwann cells. Then there are axon terminals. So this is the end point of the axon, and after that the gap, which is also called as synapse, is present, and which is followed by another neuron. So this is the structure of a typical neuron. Now let us see function of a neuron, that is how it functions for a nervous system. So let us start. So the receptors which are present on the end of a dendrites of the nerve cell detects the information from the environment, and then these receptors begin a chemical reaction from that, and this chemical reaction creates an electrical impulse, and then this impulse travels from the dendrite to the cell body. And after that this electrical impulse travels from the cell body to the axon. So at the end of the axon, the electrical impulse sets off the release of some chemicals, that is chemical reaction. That is, these electrical impulses then begin with the formation of chemical reactions, and these chemicals cross the gap, that is synapse. Okay, so and after that they start a similar electrical impulse in a dendrite of the next neuron, and this is the general basic criteria of how neurons impulses travel in the body. So this similar synapse finally allows delivery of such impulses from the neurons to other cells, that is muscle cells or gland, etc. So the signal which are detected by the receptors must be followed to other cells to know that what they have to function, um, to respond to the change in the environment by the organism. So this is very important, and for that this electrical signal must be transmitted to different muscle cells or gland cells for their functioning for that particular response. So let us see this neuromuscular junction where the neuron is connected with the muscle cell, and here you can see that there is that gap present, and over there the electrical impulses from the cell body, from the axon, is converted into the chemical reaction to be transmitted to the muscle cell again, and after transmitted to the muscle cell, the chemical reaction is again converted to the electrical impulse to transmit it to other cells. So this is the neuromuscular junction and how this nervous system works. So this nervous system working is basically depend upon this transmission of electrical signal, and it is also important that how to begin with the chemical reaction and how to stop with that. Okay, so this is the basic nervous system. So we can now conclude that the neurons are basically the nerve cells which are present in our nervous system, where the information is acquired and through which information travels as an electrical impulse, and this is the site where this impulse must be converted into a chemical signal for onward transmission. So these are the figures. So first figure is of synapse, that is the gap which is between two nerve cells or between nerve cell or other cell, for example muscle cell or gland, etc. And the other three figures are of a neuron. So you can see that how neuron look like. If you like this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please don't forget to like, comments, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching this video and stay tuned for another video lecture on the same topic.